Welcome to the Crochet Crowd. So it's my friends at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host, Mikey. This is the temperature blanket done in chevron format. Over 120 days of information has been captured inside this temperature blanket. So what we have is when we go to start this, the first 20 rows are going to be the hottest color in order to have the balance. I have it worked out in different sizes, which I'll talk about. And once those 20 rows are done, you're going to let Mother Nature play the course on how this is going to go. Now, because I've used the back loop only, do you see how it looks here? The other side actually has a different appearance to it because of that, because the colors keep bouncing around. And as it moves along in the season, and because I'm in North America, it gets colder, so my temperatures begin to shift as I work my way through the months. As the season progresses, you're going to notice that the colors will start intermixing with each other and creating a transition that Mother Nature has decided for us. And again, you look on either side and it has a different appearance based on these back loops. And as we get further on, more closer to Christmas, you're going to notice that I chose white as my final color as being the coldest. And so you can see that every time it's hitting it, and then the last few rows of the 20 rows are going to be the white to have the balance. So let's go to the pattern because I have figured out what the size difference is going to be. So if you want to figure this out in order to change the sizes or add more months and etc., we have all that information for you as well. So you're going to have an official download that you'll have, and I just have it as my sample here. So the blanket that I have created is about 50 inches wide and it's 60 inches long. And we have a hook size of 5.5 millimeter size eye, and these are the 9 colors that I chose in the Caron 1 pound yarn. You could decide any yarn that you wish and any hook size as long as it complements each other. So flipping the page, what you're going to notice that each chevron here is approximately 5.5 inches wide. So you could determine how many chevrons that you would like to make. So one chevron is made up of 27 chains. So when you go to complete this, you can either chain 245 for the size that I have, or just do multiples of 27. So 1 through 27, 1 through 27, and then at the end, just add 2. You should know that when you do something like this though, is that even though you'll have a very long chain, once you go across it and you start making the chevron, you're going to notice that the chain will get much smaller, okay, in size because it's going up and down. So just be mindful of that, and that's why there's so many chains. Once we get moving on this, you're going to notice that row 2 is the complete repeat for the entire thing. And so for the first 20 rows, there'll be the hottest color that is in your gauge. We talked about that in another video on how we figure that out. And then once those 20 rows are done, you're going to rely on Mother Nature from September 1st all the way to December 20th and do that. And once September 20th comes, the final 20 rows will be the coldest color in your gauge. So going back to the sheets that I talked about in the other tutorial, what we have is September 1st is our kickoff, and you have the temperatures just like you see. And we figured out what those are going to be. So when you look at this number 71 and you look at this, you're going to see that it's the color red. So each one of these will be assigned a color that you will have decided. And then by September 3rd, you'll see it's 65. So you're going to be bouncing down to here. So you're going to notice that there's going to start bouncing around, and you're going to go and choose day by day. So if you are going to take your temperatures on a daily level back at home where you live, then just look at your thermometer close to the same time every day in order to get the accurate temperature, or you can just wait and find out what the high of the day was. Don't complicate it by doing the highs and the lows and the wind and the sun and the clouds. Just keep it nice and simple, and you'll have a beautiful gradient transitioning weather blanket dictated by Mother Nature. So without further ado, let me show you how to do this particular sample, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to deal with the ends, because you're going to notice is that sometimes 70 and 70 is the same, so you don't want to fasten the color off at the end of this row and just to start it again. So you want to be mindful when you're watching all of these is that maybe you want to let a few days go by or just put it aside without fastening off, and then when you get the new temperature, if you're doing it in real time, you can do that. But if you're using historical data of maybe somebody's birth year or anything like that, you can obviously see the weather for the entire thing and, you know, blast your way through this thing. Without further ado, we'll be using a 5.5 millimeter size eye crochet hook, and I'll be using Caron 1 pound as my example. So I'm going to show you how to start this. So you can just chain 245 if you wish, or you can do multiples of 27 plus 2. So I'll just do 2 multiples just to see you through there. So just chain 1 through 27 if you're doing the multiples, or just blast 245 if you want the sample itself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27. So this is considered one chevron. Do you see the length of it? But it looks long now, but once you start going up and down, it really narrows down. So what you think that this is going to be really too long, once you start doing row number 1, you're going to notice it's going to go up and down. So now you can just continue to make more multiples. Again, 1 through 27 is all you need to do, and then add 2 at the very end. So I'll be right back in a moment. So no matter how many multiples you did, don't forget that you still have to add the 2 chains at the end to have the balance, so that you'll have the proper up and down. Or if you just did 245, that'll work out too. So let's begin row number 1. So in row number 1, we're going to start in the down motion. So second chain from the hook, get the back hump of the chain only, and I want you to place in 2 single crochets. This will count as a top of a peak. The counting is going to remain the same for everything. So you're going to go down and do 12 chains in a row of single crochet. So let's count those out together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And 12. Now that 12 are in, you want to skip the next 2 chains, so 1 and 2, go to the third chain and do 12 single crochets, and this will be in the up motion. So you've now just completed the bottom of a valley. So 1's in, and let's do up to 12. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Once you have your 12 going up, you can see now it's caused a bend. In the top peaks of these things, except for the edge, you're always going to have 3 single crochets in the next one. So the peak is always 3 single crochets. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So let's talk about the remaining of this. So you're going to go 12 single crochets down, skip 2 chains, 12 single crochets up, and then you'll be at the peak and you'll put 3 single crochets. So you're going to continue to go up and down in that motion all the way across, and you will have changed your chain from being straight to being on the angles, just like you see. So please continue to do this, and I'll see you at the end of the row. So once you're all the way to the other side, this is my 12th one going up, and the very last chain will have only 2 single crochets in it because it is an edge only. So that'll happen each and every time. So when you look at it now, you're going to have the up and down motion all the way across. Let's turn our work and do row number 2, which is the repeat for this whole thing, and I'm going to give you some extra tips for you as well. Before we begin, you may be able to recognize the bottom 2 stitches that are in the valley, which are right here. So you see these 2? And you'll be able to recognize possibly the middle one of the grouping of 3. Do you see that? If you can recognize that, you can avoid the excessive counting. But what I did do once in a while is I did a spot check where I felt like, well, I don't know if there's enough in there, so I just counted just to make sure. And you can do that. And if you have something that's not counting properly, say maybe you have 11 down when you should have had 12, you can just slam in 2 stitches somewhere near the middle here so that it will get you to the number 12. And if you have an extra stitch in the middle somewhere along the way, you can put a single crochet 2 together to bring it back. And I did do that in the original sample, that I just didn't You just can't see it. That's how great it is. So let's begin this row. You're going to chain up one, and in the back loop only, if you look at crochet, there's always 2 strands that make up a stitch. And the first one that's closest to you is called the front loop, and the one that is away from you is the back loop. And I want you to single crochet in the back loop twice because it is the edge. Now you're going to do, in the back loops only, 12 going down. So we can count those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And this should take you so that you can see the 2 middle stitches in the valley, which are right here. And if you can see that without having to count, that's awesome. And if you have to count, that's okay too. So skip those 2 and come to the 3rd one right here where I'm moving my thumb. And that's the 3rd one away, and begin to do 12 stitches in the back loop going up. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And so the very next one is the middle of the top of the peak, and in that middle one there will be 3 single crochets going in there. Again, if you can see it, it's awesome and it will save you a lot of time. Now let's talk about the remaining. So you're going to go 12 down, you'll skip the 2 middle, and then 12 up, put 3 into the middle peak. Continue to do that up and down, and what I'll do is I'll meet you at the end of the row. And because you're using the back loop only, you're going to notice that the texture has just begun. So I'm coming all the way across. The very last one, if you can identify it, you'll have your 12 coming up, and the last one here is going to have 2 single crochets in there. So you can turn your work, and what you just learned is just going to be the standard for the entire thing. So in the temperature blanket, the first 20 rows, which are these are now 2, so the next 18 will be the same color, and then you'll let Mother Nature kick in on September 1st as you continue your journey. Now, just because I started September 1st, you can start any month if you wish. It's just the whole concept is to getting this done before Christmas. So let me just show you another concept here, and I'll be right back. So this was one of my prototype testers, and I wanted to test how much the chevron was going to be for size. And so you can see that some days you have multiples going in, and I realized that I had to build in a buffer in order to get it to be the right size for that. So that's why there's 20 rows on the bottom and 20 rows on the top, so everything in between will give you a nice decent size. So when you look at this from this perspective, because of the texture, do you watch these? It changes slightly on the way things look, right? To the pink. And so as the colors change, you may notice that if one day it's one color and the next day it's another, it may actually be completely missing on one side, but it's on the other side, which makes it really quite unique. So what I want to do is that I want to show you how to end a color and then add a new color. And again, what I said to you is that maybe what you want to do is let a few days go by, so that just in case you have multiple days, like there's 4 days here that it was in the same gauge, I don't want to end it each and every time so that I end up with tails. So I want to be cautious of that, and I recommend that you weave it in as you go and get rid of it so that it doesn't become a headache at the end. So let's talk about changing your colors out, and just say that the next row that we do, so every day is a different temperature, right? So you may have in the same category, so you may have like the yellow may have to go 2 or 3 or 4 times before it changes over. So I like it when it keeps changing more quickly because it keeps me more visually interested. So when you change the color, what you want to do is snip the yarn, and I recommend to you that you try not crocheting over top of the edge of it, because what happens with that is that it can bulk out. So grab a tapestry needle, and I recommend that you do it as you go. So don't look at my other sample because it was just that, a sample. And I want to put it through a tapestry needle, and I want to drag it through the underside of the stitch. Now when you do this, The goal for you is not to get it between the strands, but actually split some of the plies. Things fall out when things can easily slide out. So sometimes you just got to take your time and just get it so that it breaks apart some of the plies. And pull through. And when you pull through, I don't want you to pull to the point that you're changing the shape of it. So you just want to be taut, but you don't want to be to the point where it's changing the side. So the first time you go through, just kind of stretch it back out to what it should be, and then going in through a slightly different path. And go about an inch or so through. And then back one more time. So once you get used to doing this, it becomes pretty quick. But don't interfere with the top stitching at all in any way so that it doesn't impact your stitches. And once you have that done, you can safely cut it down. And you have to remember that this is the side that you just finished on. So when you go to start the next one, you want to turn it and begin and start your next color. So let's start a new color. So I like to start with a standing single crochet. And how we do that is that we come into the very first stitch. So look where it is, and you want to get to the back loop only. Right there. And with this already on here, you want to just yarn over, pull through, and you got the 2 loops, pull through the 2. And that locked it onto itself, and you know it's an edge, so you need to do 2 of those. Go right up over top of the straggler. Capture that in. And what you can do with the straggler is do what I showed you with the tapestry needle to weave it in. So what I would do is crochet over about an inch of it. So in the back loop only, you're going to go down 12. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And then kick this out, send it to the back, use your tapestry needle to finish that off so it doesn't slide out, and then continue along. So we're going to do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And this should take me so that I see the 2 middle, which is right here. So I'm going to skip that and then go to the third one and go 12 going up. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and the next one should be the middle. And there should be 3 single crochets in there. So let's just go down, and I'm not gonna count, I'm just gonna do 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's quickly just show you what happens is that you went down and there was only 11 and before you got to where the middle was, and so you're missing a stitch somehow. Don't frog everything back out. If you only had 11 and you needed 12, just put in 2 single crochets into the same stitch and then continue on down. It's hardly noticeable, okay? And it's a way of saving yourself without having to frog. And for those that are new to crochet, frogging means to rip it, rip it, rip it, rip it. So rip it out. So you can do that, and it does look a little bit off just for a few moments, but then once you go back across this, it'll balance itself back out. Okay, so we're going to come down, and we're going to jump over the 2 middle, and then we're going to come up. So let's just say, for example, you went up and you have 13 stitches before you got to the peak instead of 12. Then what you can do is just do a 2 together. So going into the next stitch, pull through, and the next one, pull through, and then pull through the 2, and 2 stitches just became 1. So it's a way of reducing a stitch without having to frog your work so that you can continue your journey with a lot more ease. So you need to know these kind of tricks to be able to save yourself, because sometimes in the waves you can get kind of confused or you miscount in some way, and that's a great way to do it. So you're going to work with Mother Nature, and you're going to get this all the way down to December 20th. At the end of December 20th, I want you to do the final 20 rows of the coldest color in your scale, and then that will have the balance. And this is something that you can do. So whether you're looking at past data to be able to speed ahead or work on it day by day, I think either way, you have a beautiful gradient Afghan dictated by Mother Nature. Want to know more? Hit that subscribe now.